You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.
Go for it, Jim. Climb the ladder, kid. Make yourself famous.
A podcast covering all things WWE.
I have now returned to save the WWE.
NXT.
The beautiful part of NXT is that when one dream ends, another dream begins.
And AEW.
Holy wrestling. I couldn't be more happy.
Here are your hosts, Kyle Gagliardi and Jim Tucker.
What is going on, everyone? You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hosted by the Marks, for the Marks, and I am your host, Mr. Pay-Per-View himself, Kyle Gagliardi, as always, joined by my good friend, Jim Tucker, or as I like to call him, Tucky!
What's going on?
It's been a couple weeks.
It has.
Took a couple weeks off.
Yeah.
Life got a little busy for you more than me.
Yeah, and a couple more weeks of middle school ball, then it kind of eases up. But
I never asked you. Did you win tonight?
no,
Okay,
we
well, I feel like
we had a
an asshole.
shot, played well, and then had a couple innings got away from us. But we're getting better.
I think you're missing something.
Nope,
I think you're missing Coach Gagliardo.
bro. You know it's open.
You haven't reached out to me in 2020 officially. I'm just saying.
This is ass.
I would like an official contract and everything if this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe we can make this into 2021.
Okay.
I don't know. My schedule's kind of open.
Okay.
Other than watching wrestling, and now football's back on, so we got something to watch.
I can always use people that'll show up. I think you like it. It's something that feels like you're giving back, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
My dad was a coach his entire life,
can
and I
see
feel
that.
like I'm like an extension.
Ralph's one of them gamer guys.
Yeah.
You know, he's just in it.
He's
he
a
does
guy's
fantasy
guy.
football, right?
He does.
Yeah.
He was a part of our fantasy draft a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago. I know you had yours. and
Yep.
Football's on in the background, but hey, we're here to talk some wrestling. We had a lot that we haven't been able to talk about on the podcast.
Yes.
We had SummerSlam, we had Payback, and we had All Out. Were you able to watch every single one of those? I know
Yes.
All Out not
Yep.
live, right?
Yeah, I did. I had to catch up on some streams, but I have consumed all of it,
Good, because we're gonna
mostly legally.
we're not gonna disclose our links here because we do share them with the new AEW OTM pay-per-view champion Ian Garavalia.
Yes.
I can't believe it. The youngster, as I like to call him, number 7, part of the Dark Order of OTM,
Yeah.
comes in. He says, "Hey, I want to be part of the AEW predictions." He took care of us, didn't he?
Yeah.
it wasn't close,
I
was
think
it?
he just got one wrong or something. He had a great night.
Well, he was on. I mean, I was on the Lance Archer mindset too, but I thought that was too obvious.
Yeah.
when we were picking, so I stayed away. But yeah, he's a new champion. And then at Payback, we went into it with you, Mikey, and myself as the OTM World Pay-Per-View Champion.
Yes.
And now, sitting to my left, they can't see it, but you might see that picture on social media right now. I am the new OTM Pay-Per-View Champion, and don't forget that NXT Championship right behind you, Tuck. That also is mine as well.
It's times like these, I wish we did video versions so people could see my face.
I think majority of the people that know you personally know your facial expression right
Yeah.
now without even seeing it.
Yeah.
So, hey, there's always next show. Clash of Champions is coming up.
Every time I get a text about you and that goddamn belt, I have this inner debate with myself. If you're just being a heel or you really are just an asshole.
I think it's a mixture
I'm
of
still
both.
right in the middle.
I mean, aren't all great heels just a little bit of an asshole? In real
yeah,
life? Like Randy Orton.
I do think you would help me if I was in need. So I still fall back on that. We
Don't tell the
are
listeners that.
actual friends.
I don't know about right now the way you're feeling towards me, but it looks good over here. I'm not gonna lie.
Whatever.
We got the nameplate on the side. Nobody can see this, but I'm just looking at it right now. On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, pay-per-view predictions, as it's almost coming off as I say that.
Yeah, not the best adhesive. It's your problem now. So
It's all right. I could only have it for a couple weeks, so we'll see what happens from there. But before we get into everything that we're trying to catch up on here in the wrestling world, we got to remind the listeners, Tuck, we're a part of the Overtime Sports Network. You want to tell them a little bit about that?
we are. The Overtime Sports Network is a collection of podcasts and blogs, and it's starting to heat up a little bit with sports coming back. They are back. The
They
NFL's
are.
coming back.
Yeah.
Family Divided's putting out content. One of the other podcasts on
Barely.
the network. You have On the Mark podcast. AWI Pod is always pumping out fresh content, and we always do have room for bloggers, especially we love to pump out blogs, and if you are looking to scratch that creative itch, reach out to Kyle on Twitter. You can DM the Overtime Sports Network Twitter page @_OTSN. You can also, if you follow him on the wrestling side @2SweetKyle.
Too sweet.
You can hit me up too. I'm at JimTuck89 on Twitter. But yes, OTSportsNetwork.com and @_OTSN on the twits.
And Instagram.
Instagram.
Show
Same thing.
Instagram some love.
Yeah.
We actually attach links, so if the podcast is on the network and it's on Spotify, I can easily just post it to the Instagram story. So if you ever need links to any of the episodes, you can just go there as well. Yeah, we definitely got you. So I guess we should start with WWE.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Sure.
Catch up. Like I said, last time we talked, what was it? SummerSlam predictions?
When we actually put out a pod, yeah.
Correct. We did a Payback predictions video.
Through YouTube, yeah.
And then I did an all-out predictions video by myself because we were going to record, but you were doing some coaching that evening.
Busy, yeah.
Was that a late night for you that night? Yeah. And then Saturday, you weren't able to watch it live. Neither was I, for All Out, that is.
Mm-hmm.
And then you watched it on Sunday, correct?
Yep.
All right. So we're all caught up.
Yes.
Well, we're going to talk about WWE. So if you're here to listen to just AEW, fast forward about 30 minutes, probably be a safe bet. Or if you're just here for the WWE talk, that's what we're going to get into right away. But the first thing I want to bring up, it's something that's relatively fresh in our minds, is that Bayley and Sasha Banks, they're finally no more, Tuck.
Yeah.
We finally got that moment. We've referenced it on the podcast. It's got to happen. And last Friday, it seemed like the breaking point hit.
Yeah. It's an interesting, I think the timing is actually interesting because we're not building to a big old pay-per-view at this moment. So then the debate is, do you pop off at Clash of Champions? December is supposed to be, what's November? Is that Survivor Series?
I believe that is always Survivor Series.
Yeah.
We were there last year. That's right. I'm going to look up the pay-per-view schedule.
December, I think, is Hell in a Cell.
That I know is happening, yes.
So I think that would be a great one.
See, that's where I thought we were heading with all this.
Right.
I thought this would be a perfect feud to just end in a cell. It just feels right, with what's been going on here. But no, I'm looking at the pay-per-view schedule right now. We have Clash of Champions in a couple weeks, the 27th. October, the only thing going on is NXT TakeOver, but they really haven't even announced that.
Huh.
So we don't know for sure. Hell in a Cell is supposed to be the 1st of November, so that's kind of maybe where they could be targeting this match.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then Survivor Series, flip that around 3 weeks later. It's on the 22nd.
Yeah, weird.
But yeah, overall thoughts. I mean, Sasha lost her Raw title at SummerSlam. Then they both lost their tag belts to Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler at Payback. And then the snap happens on SmackDown. I mean, we obviously saw this coming, right? Like, this was obvious.
Yeah.
So, I don't feel great about it.
I wasn't extremely satisfied with the turn. Like, I wasn't like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
I thought there was going to be a little bit more of a build-up, but we are getting what we wanted. It's packaged a little bit differently, and you can confidently say that the payoff, the match between the two of them, is going to be good.
And I still think you could avoid from doing the payoff on Clash of Champions if you do what I said a couple weeks ago. You have Bayley face someone else for that SmackDown Women's Championship, and then maybe she loses it, and they just have their own match without the title. But you're assuming they're probably going to have the title in this match?
I think so. I do think the gold puts a little bit more on it, and Sasha will win.
Yeah, I think that's the inevitable. I think that's inevitable too, because Bayley, we're in the 300s in her reign. I mean, at first we talked about it. We weren't in on the whole heel run, but I think she finally came into her own a little bit over the past couple months.
Well, and I think a big part of her coming into her own was having Sasha in her hip. So I don't super trust or feel very confident in Bayley as a solo champion with Sasha on the other side, looking at her. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, for sure. And another thing that happened on SmackDown that I wasn't watching live. I think I tuned in a couple hours Friday night after it happened, but I actually saw this spoiler on Twitter, and I had to do a double take. Jey Uso, Jey Uso, part of the Usos, is going to be facing Roman Reigns at Clash of Champions for the Universal title.
That's cool.
Were you watching? You weren't watching this live, were you?
Nope.
Saturday morning kind of thing?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, talk about out of left field, Tuck.
Well, and it's something we are talking about it. I think there's about a 0.0001% chance that he actually wins it, especially with Paul Heyman being attached to Roman Reigns' hip now. But it is a cool kind of different matchup, and I think that's why people like AEW so much is like you get a lot of random pairings, but they always still have a little bit of count with them because records matter.
Yes.
So you get matchups that normally maybe wouldn't make sense, but can have an impact on somebody's record. And this is one of those things where you wouldn't normally write in Jey Uso against Roman Reigns.
This reminds me of like you're simming your video game and the career mode or whatever, and Jey Uso just randomly got a title shot out of
like, what's that? What was that?
But here we are. I mean, he took the spot of Big E. He was attacked by Sheamus to get to that fatal 4-way number 1 contendership match. He ends up winning the whole thing, and then after he won, and I got a chance to actually watch it live and see how it happened, my thought was, I think this is just happening so eventually the Usos can join Roman Reigns, join Paul Heyman. They can kind of create like this family stable led by one of the best managers of all time. I don't know what you think about that.
I think it'd be cool.
I mean, that has to be the only reason, right? Like, why else would you have, or just for the sake of it being a match we've never seen before?
Wouldn't be surprised, though. Because WWE be like that sometimes.
Not a lot, because a lot of people will complain, oh, we've seen this match before. Why don't you put somebody else in there like Cesaro? Oh, here's Jey Uso. And then the internet still is mad about it. I mean, I'm not mad about it. It's just something I never saw coming. And we all are going to be going into this match not even giving Jey Uso a chance. So it kind of ruins, the result of it. But that's why I think the ultimate outcome here is probably him joining it. So another thing is with Big E being put out of that equation there, is this kind of like WWE's way of putting a pause button on the Big E singles push? You think they're waiting to pull the trigger with him, or do they just not know what to do with him?
I think it's a little bit more of like, we know we want a singles push, but we don't really know what to do with him right now. And how many thrusts do you want to happen at the same time? And I think they're going for, well, we want Roman to remain at the top, and then we can have Big E do the chase, possibly.
And like we say always, it's a lot easier for the babyface to be doing the chasing, rather than having the heel do it. And right now, Roman Reigns is a heel, and what he is doing so far with Paul Heyman, it's like the opposite of when Brock Lesnar came out there. When Brock and Heyman went out there, we kind of knew the whole spiel. Now that this is something new, and it's something new to Roman's character, my eyes are glued to the TV every time.
Yep, every
single time. And I don't know, could this be a long-term thing? Roman Reigns as a heel?
Well, I think they're gonna touch and go, and I thought they were at a spot where it was like Roman's gonna go out and get booed anyways.
Yeah,
let's earn the boos and make money off of it instead of thrusting him in to be a babyface. So, for a heel to turn babyface, from being a heel, there's gonna have to be some big return or a big. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
And it's pretty astounding, too, that Roman's shirt is already, like, the number 1 seller.
Yeah. You copping it?
I was thinking about it, like, wreck everyone and leave.
Yeah.
He has one now that says win the title and leave.
Yeah.
Like that's just so simple, but it's good.
Yeah.
And, of course, you can only get it in a black color because that's wrestling shirts.
Wrestling T-shirts, baby.
I don't know, but Big E, that's a guy I like to keep an eye out for the Rumble.
Yeah.
I think they have their eyes on him, amongst other people, but if I were to have 3 guys off the top of my head, I'd say Big E. I'd say maybe Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Because what else are you doing with him? And maybe Matt Riddle?
Yeah, there's some legs there.
I don't know. There's a lot of options, I think, next year, which is nice because we had this Rumble this year. It was kind of unpredictable, and I think next year's could be as well.
Yeah, and that's what you want.
It is.
No doubt.
It could also be another guy. Could be Keith Lee.
Yeah.
Who we haven't had this chance to really fully get into this. Now that he is 100% part of the main roster, he beats Randy at Payback, which I don't think you can get a bigger win.
Right.
In your first. And how about getting that win clean, too? Like, there was no shenanigans whatsoever.
Yeah. They're going to have their hands full trying to figure out what to do with Randy right now, like with where he's at. But
already the number one contender again after winning a couple matches on Raw.
Yeah. I don't, he doesn't have the same juice for me at the current moment, but Keith Lee is in this interesting spot where, like, I think we're still a little bit more wait and see. Like, are they going to WWE-ify him too much?
Haven't they already?
I think they've made some touches, but I don't think they've totally killed him yet.
The new theme.
He needs to be a monster. Like, he needs to be unbeatable.
What we saw at Survivor Series when we were there in person last year. That's the Keith Lee.
And watch out. Proceed with caution.
Right.
It's
touchy right now just based off what they're doing. The new theme, the newish kind of gear, the new presentation kind of him too, like his promos and everything. He's very particular with the way he's wording things and whatnot. But I wouldn't say it's like they're ruining him up there, but like you said, proceed with caution because what we had with Keith Lee in NXT was great. What we're having right now on the main roster,
that's all right.
Okay.
And I feel like once the WWE fan contingent makes up their mind, it's hard to pull back. It's hard to undo it. And you almost see it with Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Great professional wrestler. Unbelievable.
Elite.
Awesome. People didn't want to see him. People didn't care, and because they had their mind made up. And I pray that doesn't happen with Keith Lee, that they're like, oh, he's just, cast aside.
Yeah. And I think another thing that hurts a guy like Keith Lee is not having fans.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was a guy that was just so over with the crowd everywhere he went. And now we're putting him in this Thunderdome. Yeah, there's still fans there, but you can't get that natural reaction. And you can't really tell how over Keith Lee is at the moment. So, I don't know. I just, like you said, proceed with caution with Keith Lee. You can't really put him in the WWE title picture right now.
Right.
Why am I blanking on who the Bobby Lashley? Maybe.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good match.
I think a feud with him in the Hurt Business would be money.
Mm-hmm.
And the Hurt Business just got a new member.
Yes.
Cedric Alexander joining the Hurt Business officially.
Something to do.
Yeah.
Something to do.
That's true. I wanted it to be Ricochet.
Yeah. Give him some kind of edge a little bit.
Yeah. But hey, the Hurt Business, other than you could say Drew McIntyre right now, probably the best thing on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
Because not only are they a part of like the main show, they've been showing up on Raw Underground.
And WWE almost kind of lucked into it, right? With MVP making the appearance at the Royal Rumble, so some could see it. And then, because I was not super familiar with MVP. The pop in the condo was a little different for me because it's like, okay, that's cool.
You missed the boat on his run earlier.
And now my first experience with him has been pretty good. I think he does a good job in the Hurt Business. It makes me feel like you can't just overlook Lashley like you used to be able to with like the Lana stuff and things like that. So the Hurt Business is real.
I love their shirt too.
Yeah.
I think you might have seen the tweet that I had, but I was like, I'm this close to purchasing a Hurt Business shirt.
Yeah.
But like, where am I ever going to wear that?
Yeah.
I feel like people are going to look at me weird if they see this dude with like the gold shiny lettering.
No, you just got to do it.
Not a great look.
No, you got to buy it.
Maybe if they have like one of those BOGOs going on.
Yeah.
It would match my new belt I got over here, though. What do you think?
You.
How does it look over here? Just keep looking at it because you're not going to touch it. But I think this is good for Cedric Alexander. No?
Yeah.
You can wake up now. It's okay.
I like it. I'm good with it. I'm good with it. It's something for him. Good.
True.
I don't think he's got enough to do it on his own.
Oh, 100%.
To do well.
And I don't think Ricochet does either. So what happens with Ricochet?
He's got great talent, but he's just so vanilla. He needs a little bit of edge.
I don't know if you ever watched Being the Elite with the Young Bucks on YouTube.
Not really.
They were doing some figure hunting for their figures in Walmart, and they ran into a Ricochet figure, and then I forgot, it might have been Matt. He goes, "Hey, look at Ricochet. Remember that guy?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "I think we can get sued for that."
Yep.
I was like, "Yeah, you might." I don't know, because they're just showing a bunch of WWE figures, too, and just going through them.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, guys, that's fine. But yeah, Cedric Alexander now a part of the Hurt Business. That's something relevant. Also, Retribution finally starting to become a little more clear.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got actual promo in the back, that dark lighting and whatnot. Who were you seeing when you visually saw that promo right there?
Well, I think I'm still a little bit more on board with the Dio Madden. I think he's in there somewhere. But I also think Dijakovic and Yim are like the two that you can like sell the
Facially,
house for.
you can see, yeah.
Um,
The Dio one makes sense, too, because he tried to be an announcer.
mm-hmm.
Brock Lesnar beat the shit out of him, and then they wrote him off TV.
Mm-hmm.
Now he comes back as a wrestler to get... Yeah, I like that.
He's seeking retribution.
That makes sense.
Dio Madden, Brock Lesnar, WrestleMania, book it.
Okay, I don't think that's going to happen, because Brock Lesnar's a free agent, too, by the way. That happened.
Why did not know that?
You didn't?
No.
That was all over, like, all these AEW. Oh, my God, what if he went to AEW? I would hate that.
Another guy on the roster.
He would ruin the rest of the roster.
He should. Yeah.
Like, that just takes away from everything because it's Brock freaking Lesnar, like, regardless. So you see Dijakovic, so do I.
Yeah.
Mia Yim seems kind of obvious.
And that kind of makes sense, too, with Keith Lee being the bump and them being together, that they kind of operate on the same
Correct, but
schedule.
what does Mia Yim have that's, like, the retribution style? Like, what have they done to her? Pushed her to the side maybe on NXT?
Yeah, didn't get all the shots maybe.
But she was on TV a lot.
She was. She got work.
Especially at the end there. So I think those two are guaranteed, but I'm seeing rumors speculating that Mojo Rawley is also part of Retribution, which makes sense from previous booking.
Yeah.
And with that, so say it's Dijakovic, Yim, we'll say Dio Madden, Mojo, and Chelsea Green. Do you think that group can really be credible on the main roster?
Nope.
Same.
I don't.
Yeah.
Again, this is one of those spots where a cool return could happen. I have no idea who or why, but there. I don't.
CM Punk once the fans are back.
That would be like
the only thing I could think of. Only thing
you want to blow the roof off of a place. You're gonna need some firepower. Are there good wrestlers? Are there good athletes in that group? Of course.
Yeah.
But
Dijakovic's great, but as like a leader,
my opinion of Mia Yim does not change because she's part of Retribution.
And our opinion of her on her own was getting better.
On the way up. Yeah.
So of giving her that Retribution, it's weird. But like I was saying, the only person I could see that really could be that big payoff would be like a CM Punk.
The Hurt Business would run that, would be them.
Yeah.
Like,
I would rather be in the Hurt Business than that
Reigns
Retribution.
And Paul Heyman would take them out. He doesn't even need other people. So like they're getting so much screen time and now they're getting promos and now they're looking like a force, but who are they actually going to oppose if they're not coming out of nowhere? You know what I mean?
The Hurt Business, right? Cuz like if you're matching
sure.
bodies for bodies. But they have females in there too.
Mhm.
Just go out there and fuck up Natalya and Lana, please.
No
I'll
kidding.
pop for it.
Yeah.
That'll get me going. It'll make Raw a little bit more exciting.
But you have this cool dynamic where like where they pull off their masks, right? There is this
We
moment.
need that reveal.
Yeah, and the reveal of Dominic Dijakovic, Mia Yim, Mojo Rawley, you're not like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
You know, and WWE fans live for those things. Like you have
Moments.
this list of like I was there and I popped, or like you remember where you were sitting or watching and that experience, and that's why we continue to watch. Great matches are great matches. It is what you can find great talented matches in the middle of a Monday night, but you can also we can go to the RDS gym and see a really good match, right? With Black Label, you can go to Warrior Wrestling. Like good matches are everywhere. So how are you going to keep it? It's got to be a pop.
Got to be a moment.
And I'm not convinced they have that yet. And I also think that's why we're not learning a ton.
Who it is.
I think they're
waiting it out.
Yeah, like the boat is in kind of steady waters right now before they really want to shoot it. So we'll see.
If they are saving that reveal for whoever, maybe there's a bigger name joining this group for like the first live show, then I would understand the whole pussyfooting around this right now.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But as of right now, I'm glad they're talking. I'm glad they actually got to show a little bit of themselves, but it's still, we're going to need something here.
Mustafa Ali?
He's been killing it on Main Event. He's tweeting about that. He could be a part of it, though.
Yeah.
And they could just be using bodies for these segments. Like, they might not be the actual revealed members.
Well, tell me one of the ninjas, right? Like that.
Yeah, it could be.
They have humans, right? Like,
oh, they have plenty of
and
bodies.
it would be great for people to get, like, go run in the ring. You can get a little bit of work in.
Yeah,
you're on
get
TV.
reps.
People don't really know it, but you're mixing it up a little bit. So
maybe Dave Buzik's a part of Retribution?
I would love it.
People are asking.
I would love it.
Bogus? Ian?
That's the pop.
Nobody other than two people listening know who that is. The guy we play wiffle ball with who actually took an AA from John Cena at Payback in Chicago.
Yes.
So that is a fun fact. We know a guy that was a body,
a
jobber, I guess you could say, for WWE for a little bit. But last thing I want to touch on about the main roster really was that I thought SummerSlam was good. I thought Payback was actually
far better than I thought it
great.
was.
I think it might have been better than SummerSlam.
Yeah, and SummerSlam was great too.
But Raw, when we get to these next shows, so we're on that fallout now. We're after two great shows. I thought we were going to see a different trend. I get to Monday Night Raw this week, and I'm seeing repeat matches. I'm seeing 6-mans that turn into 8-men that just added the Viking Raiders.
Yep.
Focus gave me crap for that, but don't you get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Why do I need... I just saw a 6-man. Why do we got to add the Viking Raiders and just make it an 8-man?
Yeah.
That Raw was bad this week.
Ivar got kind of messed up.
I heard it's like very bad.
Yeah, he did the X.
Yeah, like when notice how this company, when somebody's severely hurt, they actually stopped working that man.
Shut it down. Yeah.
Wonder what we're referring to there.
Yeah.
But overall, I've enjoyed SmackDown. Raw needs to pick it up a little bit, but we had two good pay-per-views. Yeah. So main roster is in an okay spot. We still don't know when fans are coming. Do we know anything in terms of this coronavirus shit still?
We the only thing we do know is that we know nothing.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I love how when we were talking on the WrestleMania preview show we did, we were like guessing like maybe SummerSlam and stuff that we'd be back to crowds. Mm-hmm. And now we're like 2021.
Maybe June of next year, we'll see.
It's just the world we live in nowadays, people. Mm-hmm. It's not great. But hey, that's all we got from the main roster. Some good things are happening on Wednesday nights or Tuesday nights nowadays, it seems like.
Yep.
Last 2 weeks. Finn Balor is the new NXT champion because we all know Karrion Kross, he had to relinquish that title after he defeated Keith Lee.
Yeah.
We get to that 4-man Iron Man match to decide between all the previous champions, Finn Balor, Adam Cole, Tommaso Ciampa, and Gargano. That ended in a tie, which got a lot of people a little aggravated. What did you think of the finish of that Iron Man 60-minute match?
I was pissed.
You were?
Right away. Like, I just spent an hour and there's no payoff. But I thought the match the following week was good, and it made me want to tune in the following week as well. So it worked, but an hour is a long time to invest, especially with how crowded the wrestling landscape is. And so I had this immediate feeling of like, oh, come on. But then over time, I softened up to it. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said in my Twitter video, I don't know if you were to check it out. It's kind of like what just TV drama shows, daytime drama, and reality shows. You have cliffhangers.
To be continued.
The reason people keep watching those dumb shows in the middle of the day is because they have cliffhangers.
Uh-huh.
I wonder what's going to happen next week. Mm-hmm. So when Finn Balor and Adam Cole tied, I'm just thinking, well, I wonder what's going to happen next week.
Yeah, and we're also in a spot, too, where, like, you can binge an entire season on Netflix. So, like, you don't have to wait the week, and you don't have to have the patience and things like that. So that's kind of where I was at, too. Like,
you can't binge this, though.
I'm used to instant gratification, and I didn't get it here. But it came about in a clever way. Like, respect for them to get the timing pretty close to right. It had to be a fast count for Cole. I think he was maybe a second.
Yeah, I was going to say it was within maybe a second.
And
which is tough live.
Right.
I believe that show was live.
I think it was.
Yeah. And getting it down to a second live, I mean, yeah, props to them. So this week on Super Tuesday 2, we got the singles match, Finn Balor versus Adam Cole, opening up the show, which I thought was pretty interesting. But overall, I think I like this just straight up singles match between the two better than the Iron Man match. And I think maybe the commercials and everything and just the length of the one 2 weeks ago made this one a little better. But we know Finn Balor now is a champion, 2-time NXT champion. Was this the right choice?
Yeah, I do think so, and I wonder what would happen if Karrion Kross wasn't hurt, where Finn Balor would be. But
I think he might have been next.
This could be the necessary jolt that Finn needs to get back to a relevant spot in NXT. Didn't make sense to put it back on Cole when there's guys that can use it, and I think Finn can use it, and he's in a great spot now.
Yeah, ever since Finn came back to NXT, he was kind of just having matches with people, just to have matches. Now there's purpose. Now he has something he's fighting for. And I guarantee you, whenever Karrion Kross comes back, because it won't be super long, I believe, you got to assume Demon Finn Balor and Karrion Kross prints money right there. That's great.
Yep.
And I think you just referenced it too, that Finn probably would have been next in line for Karrion Kross anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, think of somebody else.
Right.
It ain't going to be Velveteen Dream, because every time that guy shows up on TV or tweets,
he's in a tough spot.
I think you got to fire him if we're going to bring that up. I'm not going to get into the situation, but I think with the heat that he's getting, just fire him.
It's too much to fight for to keep him, I think.
If you could fire Enzo Amore for false allegations, then why can't you fire the Velveteen Dream when all these people are breathing down his neck and coming for his throat? It's a weird situation, but Finn Balor, new champion, and then afterwards we get a little segment from behind the curtain. Adam Cole comes up to Finn Balor, gives him the old too sweet, and I think we're finally here. I think we're at the face turn of Adam Cole. He went through that stuff with Pat McAfee, kind of acted like a babyface. Had this match, great match with Finn Balor, and then afterwards he shows a sign of respect.
Yep.
Adam Cole babyface, I'm here for it.
Adam Cole baby face.
Baby face.
Adam Cole baby face.
Would this be an NXT thing only, or do you think maybe they're turning him face for the main roster?
Well, Roman's a heel.
Oh, talk about a feud.
That's very immediate, but yeah.
Talk about a feud, Tuck. Heel Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman and maybe the Usos with the Undisputed Era as a baby face. Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yep.
I'm here for that. Adam Cole versus The Fiend? Or do we even put... I feel like Raw needs Adam Cole more than SmackDown, if we're going to be honest.
Yes, I agree.
Because everybody that's coming up now is going to SmackDown.
Yeah.
Speaking of SmackDown, last thing before we go into AEW talk, Jeff Hardy faces AJ Styles for the IC title tomorrow. Who you got?
Yeah. Jeff Hardy again.
AJ Styles.
No, you're wrong.
Am I? As you see the belt right here.
You want a TV title too?
No, I don't want a TV title.
Boob.
Let's go to AEW talk to finish things off here. So
it's so hard to get the title back.
What?
How many ties there are?
What, this one?
To win it outright?
The world title?
Yeah, the NXT, it's you or me. We'll tie. We're not.
AEW, me and or you.
Yeah, that one is hard to win outright. To actually, like, it won't
hold it by yourself.
It's not. It won't change hands if you tie with somebody. Like, you know what I mean?
As long as I'm involved in that tie, I keep it myself. Yeah. And now I believe Ian's in on this as well.
Cool.
So we got.
Well, at least it hopefully that'll make it tougher. Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe it's got to be like everyone makes their picks to the sheet, and that's locked in before any of the previews go live or discussed.
It might have to be because
I think some of the conversations sway people and this or that, and then there's that jockeying of like, well, I'm going to punt this one to try to at least match. I'm really confident in this pick, you know.
Just doing it for the sake of doing it for the competition.
We'll see, but fucking thing's hard to win outright.
I'm very glad I have it right now because I feel like Clash of Champions would be a good one to retain.
I'm just glad it's fucking in the house. And
it's not going to go anywhere. That's just going to stay right behind you there. So
I'm just glad that I don't have to get texts about remembering to bring it.
I might have to clean it a little bit. It's a little dirty over there.
Whatever.
So. Hey, All Out happened last Saturday. Neither of us were able to watch it live, but we were able to watch the whole show. And I thought the show in general, and I know I sat here and I kind of took a little breaks in between and whatnot, but I started watching it around 8:30 in the morning. I didn't finish until like 1. It was a long show.
Yeah.
Very long.
Yep.
I felt exhausted after watching it. I don't know about you.
Yeah, well, mine was segmented. I can watch this a little bit here, a little bit more here, there, and I think that jacked with my continuity of it, kind of getting a good vibe of front to back. But in a number of different parts of my watching, it felt clunky, right?
It did.
From the
From the start.
Yeah.
We started with a cinematic match.
Yeah.
Interesting to go, welcome to All Out, and let's go to the dentist office.
Yeah.
Why?
Yep.
By the way, that was horrible.
It wasn't great.
And that's just not me being an asshole. Like, I didn't think Velveteen versus Adam Cole in the cinematic match was good either.
No.
This was the worst cinematic match I've ever seen. This was not good. It was corny.
Is there I guess the Velvet, but I even kind of, with Adam Cole and Velveteen Dream, there are good moments between their athleticism, but it's like weird, tight situations to film,
quarters,
things like that. WWE will get it out and open it up,
yeah,
and allow themselves views and camera angles. It was just, yeah,
tacky.
Because AEW can do it right because the Stadium Stampede was
that was one of the best things they've done. Yeah,
I was trying to sleep and I was awake for most of it.
Yeah, I mean, you had your garage flooding that night.
That was a day. Yeah, we
got
through it.
That was a day. What's the next show? Is that Fyter Fest? Is that what
that already happened? Didn't it?
No, I want to see. Hold on.
Fyter Fest already happened.
I think
Fyter Fest definitely happened on Wednesdays, 2 nights.
Well, I don't know that.
Fyter Fest.
I have no idea what their next pay-per-view is going to be.
Yep.
Well, regardless, I thought kicking it off with that was just not the way to do it. That's all I'm going to say there. Oh, it's Full Gear. Full Gear.
Oh, yeah.
Full Gear.
In Baltimore last year.
Yeah, well, it'll be in Jacksonville this year, believe it or not.
What?
Yeah. Holy. There's already predictions for the card, so let's just run this by you really quick. This is what they think will happen.
Fyter Fest happened July 1st and 2nd.
Yeah, I know. I'm seeing it right now. But Full Gear predictions, Moxley and Lance Archer, which means that match that they're having in a couple weeks would have to end in a
no finish.
Yeah, which I think might happen. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
Which also, like I said earlier, the right man won that battle royal, I would say, right?
Yeah.
So we're happy with that. We saw Lance Archer live in person at Warrior Wrestling. Talk about a unit.
Yeah.
So good for him. They think Sheeta versus Britt Baker, but Britt just lost. Okay. They think Brody Lee versus Cody. That makes sense. Cody comes back, tries to get his revenge. They're thinking FTR versus Young Bucks. Yep. Hangman versus Kenny. Oh my God, this card's better than All Out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then apparently they think the FTW title will be on the line with Brian Cage and someone, probably Darby Allin.
The Path of Cage.
they stopped that theme song.
Good.
Yeah, you didn't like that?
Nope.
Who will stop the Path of Cage?
Well, it was Taz and Brian Cage was the wrestler guy. I didn't like the dynamic.
Yeah, I wasn't big on it either. But another thing I wasn't big on was the way that they handled the whole Matt Hardy situation. If you don't know what we're talking about, you probably don't watch wrestling.
Yeah.
Because it was all over. If you haven't seen it, I guess you can go look at it. But he hit his head very hard on concrete, taking a big fall. And they continued on with the match. They obviously ended it shorter because that final spot was the planned final spot of the match. But they kind of rushed to it.
Yeah.
Took a couple minutes off. Matt Hardy says, I'm good. But they still let him go. When you can visually see no one's home.
It's like a slimy kind of feeling. I relate it to a coach knowing that a guy's gassed and leaving him out there to prove a point or to save face or to try to win a game that is meaningless in the long term. I thought it would be an outstanding look on AEW to show that there's a thought he could be injured and we're going to protect this guy. And we're going to pull back the layer of professional wrestling and show that we're treating them as human beings. But even when he came out on Wednesday and talked about it, to me, it felt rehearsed. It felt scripted. It didn't feel organic.
Yep.
The dude probably has a concussion, and he's out there and all the lights and the people and
why are you
just
doing
being
that?
very stimulated when his body has been put through the wood chipper anyways through his whole career. And I didn't feel like his wife. I felt like his wife was being pretty genuine. She had slight head nods and was kind of like, it felt to me like she was pissy to be there. Like we're getting clapped here.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just tough.
It just gets to a point where I know we're trying to do a show. I know we're trying to entertain the audience, but I believe 99% of the people watching All Out would say, yes, stop the match. Make sure Matt's okay, and we can do this another time.
Yeah.
Like there's probably nobody out there that's saying, finish the match, you pansy.
Well, and are those the people you are dying to endorse your product anyways?
No.
Exactly.
Like, this is 2020. Like, head injuries are big in sports.
Yeah.
It's just like if a player got
real
hurt.
and studied and researched and not a fraud.
Like, people kill themselves because of CTE. Like, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
That's real life. So you're taking bumps like that and you're trying to finish the match. I don't know. It wasn't a good look. Like you said, it felt tacky and rehearsed when they did that on Dynamite.
The loudest boos come from the cheapest seats, and if those are the people they're defending, like I don't know. I will continue to watch AEW. I support the product. I just hope that they've learned something from this long term, because they are young. But how long do they have the young, new, figuring it out, exemption? You know what I mean?
Like, you can't use that as an excuse anymore. Like, if you're on TV for 2 or 3 years and you're a wrestling company, you should know how to handle these kind of situations.
I agree.
In general, with this whole card itself, the whole show, because I didn't find it to be that great. It was average to me at best. I think you live and you learn from this, because this is a company that usually does things the right way. They always put out bangers, but sometimes you miss.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to learn from this, because that wasn't a good look.
I agree.
And after that match, too, and after that incident, the crowd just flatlined.
Yeah.
And maybe that had a little bit to do with the heat. We heard the humidity and how hot it was there.
Yeah, it was
taxing on the fans and whatnot.
Sure.
Which
it would be, yeah.
Hot environments make you very pissy sometimes. So after that, things kind of went really silent. But we had a good match between FTR, Hangman, and Omega, and we got new tag team champions in FTR. I thought the match was good. Probably the second best, if not the best match of the night. And now I think this is the time where we go to Omega versus Hangman.
Yeah. I look forward to it. It makes sense. That is one of the layers, or one of the avenues that comes out of All Out as a positive. And FTR is at the top, or I think they should be.
Yeah, and they've always been like tag team purists, even when they were with WWE.
Yep.
And, they kind of harped on that when they were there too. No flips, just fists. Like, that's always been their motto.
Yeah.
And they even said it best. They're like, we're at the top of the best tag team division in the world.
And I agree.
That's 100% a fact. So you can go a lot of different ways with them. Good for FTR. They're finally in a company where they can act like themselves and be at the top, like the top guys that they are. And now we're going to get a great feud with Omega and Page. Mm-hmm. There's hints of the cleaner Kenny Omega coming out, the heel version of him.
Yeah.
We're getting hints of heel Young Bucks. And the Young Bucks might step up and face FTR down the road. Like, there's no lose here in this match.
Right. I agree.
So we're moving on. We get new champions, and we get a new feud with Omega and Page. That what was your favorite match of the night? Was that it? I wonder if you're going to say what I'm thinking.
I actually liked Moxley and MJF at the end, because it was a little bit more than I thought I would get.
And they told a story in that main event, too.
Yeah. So I like that one as well. The Mimosa Mayhem match was...
Orange Cassidy going over was surprising to me.
Yeah, I picked him to win, I think.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, good for you. I didn't.
That one right.
Yeah, I didn't think that.
Yeah.
I did bad with the AEW predictions.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. It wasn't great.
Yeah. Well, Ian is the king, Yeah,
I guess. The rookie coming in, batting 1,000.
Yep.
We'll see what happens.
But what was yours?
Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that match was great.
I completely forgot about that one. I must not have been as present for that one as I...
It was earlier in the card, and it really doesn't have actual meaning to it.
Okay, yeah.
But it was more
from a
of...
wrestling standpoint, yeah.
Wrestling standpoint, entertainment, and more progression on the Young Bucks heel turn.
Yeah.
Like, they super kicked Marco Stunt just for no reason.
Well, and they super kicked the guy at their door yesterday.
They fined him $5,000. Can you believe that?
The Young Bucks?
Yeah, Monopoly money.
Right.
Right, but the main event, which you talked about, Jon Moxley retaining, that seemed to be a surprise to a lot of people. A lot of people were picking MJF, but me and you, we were on the Moxley train.
Yeah. I think MJF doesn't need a title. I think Moxley kind of does at this point. So that's why I picked him to retain. I don't know what happens to Moxley if he doesn't have the strap. So
he's just not like one of those guys you can, especially at this point of his AEW career, just put into a random feud with nothing on the line.
Right.
It feels weird. Like he's the champ.
Mm-hmm.
When he came to AEW, what did he go straight for?
Yep.
The AEW World Championship. What did he do when he got it?
Yeah, what's his mission, right? And if, I don't know, you put him in a feud with Luchasaurus just because he doesn't like his mask or something.
No, you can't do that.
I think he has to be on a mission. So I just felt that he needed to keep it.
And MJF's 24. Like,
yep,
we got plenty of time. If AEW's still around, like he's noted for 20 years, he's still probably got double-digit chances at winning
plenty
that title.
of time. Yep.
So if you're a fan of MJF and you're freaking out that he didn't win, it's fine. It's early. But Jon Moxley, who retained number 1 in PWI, Pro Wrestling Insider, for best wrestler in the world. I don't know if I agree with that one, Chief.
Adam Cole?
I think he was 2.
Yeah.
And now I'm very curious on what that list was.
Yeah.
Would Adam Cole be your number 1?
I think so.
I think he would have to be 2. I think I'd have Roman Reigns up there.
Kylie Ray, highest ranked woman, wasn't she?
I think she was. Yeah. Jon Moxley, Adam Cole, Chris Jericho 3. It's hard to dispute that.
That's true, yeah.
Drew McIntyre 4. Tetsu Naito, and then Naito, and then Okada.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes.
Sure.
Seth Rollins 8. I'm trying to find 9 and 10. But yeah, I'm surprised. Oh, well, Roman Reigns did miss a lot of time. They're going off of 2020 and I think a few months before that. I think Kofi Kingston was up there too.
Keith Lee?
Yeah, it's true. But like when you think of the best wrestlers, obviously Jon Moxley's one of them, but I don't say, oh yeah, he's the best.
Yeah.
Kofi was 9, AJ Styles was 10, Keith Lee was 11.
Yeah.
And then Brock, Kenny, Roman, Nick Aldis. Okay.
I wonder who was 500.
You want me to? I think I have it.
I won't know who that person is.
No, I have number 100.
Who is that?
WWE wrestler just returned to the company, working in a tag team.
Nope.
John Morrison, number 100.
Cool.
If
he's 100, I don't want to know who 500 is.
Yeah, that's true because he's
right.
He's very talented. So yeah. Last thing I want to touch on, this sent some waves down the Twitter sphere last night. Miro, formerly known as Rusev,
yes,
debuts on Dynamite as the best man for Kip Sabian's wedding. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, an interesting way to bring him into the fold.
They labeled him the best man.
Yeah.
Miro, like that's his thing now.
Yeah, the best man. Okay, looked kind of goofy, goofy.
The blonde hair, the Gucci shirt on.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a goofy guy, though. Like, if you've ever seen his, Twitch streams and stuff.
I'm interested to see how it kind of plays out, where he just doesn't have to be this Bulgarian brute type.
Did you watch Dynamite from, was it, last night? Yeah.
Yeah.
Solid show overall. But that right there for me was, the moment where I was like, whoa.
Yeah, okay.
Because we were wondering, what's he doing? Is he just going to do the Twitch thing? But shows up on Dynamite. I know we've mentioned this before, but it's becoming more apparent that this AEW roster specifically, for only having 1 2-hour TV show a week, they have AEW Dark, but it's not on TV. It seems like the rosters, we're getting tight.
We're getting crowded here. Not a lot of room on the bus here, ladies and gentlemen.
But you know what the thing is with Miro? I think he stands above most people.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he's the guy that's going to get lost in the shuffle.
Credibility, yeah. Towards the top.
He beat John Cena multiple times in big matches.
Yep.
This guy's credible, but going off that point, former WWE guys coming over to AEW, maybe getting lost in the shuffle. Apparently, Matt Cardona has not signed a deal with AEW.
Really?
I don't think he should.
I don't see it benefiting him.
Because I already feel like he's getting lost.
Go to Impact.
Sure. Isn't Eric Young's the world champion in Impact now?
Yeah.
The dude was nothing in WWE.
Nope. He
Go
was
over to
the
Impact.
first dude you fought on 2K.
That is true.
That's what
that
he was
actually
at.
was the thing.
And that's okay. That's all right.
I believe
guys.
Heath's doing well there, right? The
Yeah.
Good Brothers, like
Yeah.
that does seem like of place for him.
That's a good fit. He's got the wrestling figure podcast and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think his brand benefits, even if it's not Impact. I don't know what it would be, but
Float around the indies for a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe do what Cody was doing.
you can 100. It's never been easier to build your brand. You know,
Social media helps
Yeah.
tremendously. Their podcast,
he's not going to be forgotten about. He doesn't need AEW to remain relevant. And I also think it's just so crowded, dude.
I mean, let's just talk about the WWE guys that have made that jump that are kind of in like the mid card. Like you got Shawn Spears, you got Mr. Brody Lee, you got Cody,
Yeah.
you got Chris Jericho, and now Miro. Like I put Cardona at the bottom of that list.
Yeah.
Well, Shawn Spears probably at the bottom, but
Oh yeah.
Cardona's not gonna I don't know. There's just enough talent in AEW where they don't need him, in my opinion.
Right.
So, I mean, good for Miro, though. Miro's now all elite, so we'll see what they got up for him. And then overall on last night's show, for the very first time, AEW drew over 1 million viewers.
That for the first time.
I believe that was the first time, right?
What about their debut and things like that early on?
Maybe it wasn't the first
Or
time.
maybe
I don't
they-
know. I was kind of
Maybe the numbers
assuming.
weren't as big as we expected them to be. Yeah.
AEW highest ratings.
That's
Now
cool though.
I'm
Over
thinking
1
about it.
million.
Oh.
And like you commented on your Twitter, like it's okay to have wrestling on 2 separate nights. Everybody wins.
You were right, though. Their debut was 1.4.
Sure.
And then their October episode, October 9th, last year, drew 1.01. And I believe, and then this is their third highest, 1.014. So 0.004 behind the second, which is still a number. And it proves that why are we competing on Wednesday nights when we can all have our own night?
Yeah.
Even though Impact kind of is on Tuesday, but people find a way to watch it.
Yeah.
They have their loyal fan base and whatnot, but
Right.
guess who wins out of all that? When AEW is hitting 1 million, NXT is hitting 900,000.
We do.
We do.
100%.
The wrestling fans.
Yes.
The ones that are not arguing about ratings every fucking week.
I know. A passionate crowd.
That's the
A
word.
Fervent people.
So I talked to, last thing we bring up here, I talked to Erica Marini of A Work in Progress frequently.
Yes.
And she was getting mad at like AEW fanboys jumping on WWE like comments and Twitter threads and whatnot. And she's right. Like, it seems like the AEW loyalists just want to poke the bear a little bit just because they feel probably like the underdog. But it's annoying to these WWE loyalists. Like, it's just a toxic environment.
It's tough, right? And I think social media wants you to take a stance and have an opinion, but you can definitely live at, like, there's room to be a professional wrestling fan.
Doesn't AEW kind of present it that way too? Like it's kind of a competition.
They're chippy.
They're little brother.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're like the Yankees and the Red Sox Yankees rivalry, or the Cubs and the Cardinals Cubs rivalry.
They just have. I'm a big believer in be where your feet are. Do your best job when you can, and the story's going to write itself. I don't know. It's just weird because I think you end up getting more people if you're just like a really solid brand.
Yeah.
And you don't have to take shots, and you don't
Just do your thing.
Yeah.
Stay in your lane. Focus on you.
Yeah.
And worry about what you can do. And obviously what they're doing is right because even though All Out, in some people's opinion, wasn't great, they drew over 1 million on a night by themselves. So overall, that's good news for them.
Yeah.
If you could line up a week of professional wrestling, let's say Impact gets a TV spot. They got a TV deal. This is the last thing I'll say. What days would you give to each show?
Raw Monday, NXT Tuesday, AEW Wednesday, Impact Thursday, SmackDown Friday.
Originally, I was going to say Raw, Impact, NXT, AEW, but for some reason, I think AEW on Wednesday makes sense, and Impact on Thursday makes more sense. So, yeah,
Sure.
I'd agree with you. Hopefully, Impact can get a TV
3,
deal. I'd watch.
5, 7, 9. That's 11 hours a week.
Plus potential shows
the
on weekends.
pay-per-views and things like that.
We should dive into Impact maybe one week Just see what happens.
Yeah.
Give it a chance.
Yeah.
If you're listening right now, you're still with us, you want to hear us talk about Impact maybe one week, let us know.
Yeah.
Because we're kind of indie boys now.
Yeah. We're in it.
We're floating.
We're indie it.
Well, I am more than you right now.
I don't know how that makes sense.
Because I'm going to Warrior the 26th.
I might go to a Warrior show before you.
Pixar doesn't happen.
Wait, what?
But hey, Black Label Pro got EC3 when we're going.
The card's getting hot.
EC3, Deanna Peraza. At first, we were like,
Yeah.
Now we're like, yeah, this could be good.
It's solid. Brian Myers.
Oh, yeah.
People forget.
Yeah. I don't forget about Brian Myers.
EC3 doing a virtual online signing as well the day before.
I think Kylie Ray did something like that for Warrior.
You can get things signed by him and things like that. I might peek into it.
And if you can't make a show like that, and obviously not all of us live in Northwest Indiana,
we're going to be one of 30 people.
Yeah,
that's going to be pretty cool.
You'll see us if you get it on. I believe Fight TV will have it. So
yes.
that is October 3rd. Yeah, that sounds right. October 3rd. So check us out there for sure. But yeah, that's all I got. Tucky, you got anything else?
That's it. Make sure you follow OTA
Yeah, you'll get it. There we go.
On Twitter at _OTSN. Go to OTSportsNetwork.com. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at Pod on the Mark.
That's right.
And we have a YouTube and Instagram. Overtime Sports Network on YouTube at _OTSN on the Instagram. Give us a follow.
Yes, sir.
Anything? What do we have next week? Just kind of standard, right?
Yeah, well, I guess we can, if you're available.
I should be.
We should get back on the weekly train just to make sure people still know we're
Keep
alive.
It primed. Yes, we are alive. Here we are.
We don't want to turn into Wheelhouse or Family Divided.
I've just got
here.
like 2 more tough weeks with middle school, and then I'm kind of wide open much more. So
yeah, when we get to the colder weather, you'll be more available.
Oh
virtually.
yeah,
Hell yeah! Let's get into it, brother.
Life is good, my people. Thank you for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling
Podcast.
Thanks for listening to the On the Mark Podcast.
Brock Lesnar going for an F5 to Cena for the championship. Lesnar with the cover.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. For more information and updates, make sure to follow us on Twitter at Pod on the Mark.
Pod on the Mark.